All right, y'all. Part 3 of my recruiting series. So, recruiting, hidden killer to the bottom line. You can lose up to $60,000 for each person that you lose because of the lag time of hiring a new person, the burnout, the lack of productivity from the other people, that job not being done. Not to mention, it takes 6 to 9 months for someone to get good at their job. So you're hiring them and then you got to wait 9 months for optimal performance. Y'all, you don't want to lose people. You know how to do that? So you recruit well. Okay, sorry. So you recruit well. So you do right person, right seat. You got to know the seat, you got to know the person. Both ends. All right. So 2 weeks ago, I talked about group buy-in. Go watch it. I'm very smart. What can I say? Yeah, go watch it. So I talked about getting everyone on the same page on what the job requires, what we're looking for, and what person we need. Because we will hire people like us because we feel comfortable and because we want to have somebody that we can relate to. But you don't need that. Inclusive organizations and organizations that are well-rounded, meaning have different skills, are much more effective and have longevity because your products are better and the market that you reach is wider and broader because you have different types of people who are putting input into the products that you are selling. And so they can tell you, nope, my people, or I wouldn't want that and I'm white, or I wouldn't want that and I'm Asian, or my parents would never want that, they're Gen X's. So it just helps you build better products, sell better, market better, just have more fun and be human. Have a great team. All right. So the second thing I talked about 2 weeks ago was, what did I talk about? Referral sources or recruiting sources. Where are you finding your people? Are you just on Indeed or freaking LinkedIn? Because that's dumb. You need to be tapping your high performers and asking them if they know anybody. You need to be messaging those connectors, those people that know everyone. You know who I'm talking about. Those are the people that know everyone. Hit them up. You need to be hitting up your old contacts, people that you used to work with or people that you know have that same job. Maybe they would take the job at your company, or maybe they know people. And then finally, let's look at people that have backgrounds that are suboptimal, people, nonviolent criminals, or folks who have struggled with addiction or mental illness. Let's just be people. All right. Today, I'm talking about interviewing. You need to have quality and standardized processes for interviewing because there's the buy-in. Everybody knows how to evaluate how well the candidate is or if they're a good fit because you know what you're looking for and because you don't want to show up rushed and haphazard. Small business owners, like, we're busy, we're putting out fires, exhausted, but I love it. I love what that's not going to take you to scale. If you're shooting at the hip, that means you don't have processes. That means you're constantly reactive instead of proactive. So you got to have interviewing like standards and protocols. So we need to remember that we are courting that candidate. These days, people can go on Glassdoor. People can look at your company culture. People can peep your social media and they can see is this a company that I want to work with? Is this a culture that I want to get down with and spend the majority of my time with? Like, these days, the power is not necessarily in the business owner's hands. And also, people don't necessarily work for a paycheck. It's pretty wild. People will take a pay cut if they believe in what it is, or people that want to make a lot of money, you're not going to want them on your team anyways. So we just need to be looking at how to interview well. So, you know how you interview well is you start with making a good first impression. So what you need to do is go in there and act like you're interviewing a freaking president or something so that they're impressed. You know how that looks? Is we have something we call a job scorecard. You fill it out for each role. It gives the role purpose, the accountabilities, who you're reporting to, who reports to you. It shows KPIs, like stuff, numerical things that someone can track to say like red, yellow, green, meaning like, dang, I'm knocking it out of the park with this thing, but I'm in the red. I'm not performing at my job. And you know what? High performers want to win. They want to do a good job. They're not there to just check the box. Like, you want to keep those people that are working the long hours and you can tell are taking on more and more and more. You got to protect them though, because high performers will burn out, especially if they're not in the right role. All right. So When you are interviewing, you need values questions and you need skills questions. And how you ask values questions is you have a list of them. I'm actually going to read off some of the ones that we use. So cheat code, here you go. A values question. Look at their previous work experience and then look at transitions and ask, what made you decide that career choice? Like, why'd you pivot? Learn where they were, their values in the past, their prior values. Anyways, learn what space they were in there. Tell me the most important career decision you've ever made. What was happening in your life and why did you make that decision? Because you want to know that person on a professional level. You want to know, like, what have they done? Why have they done it? Are they ambitious? Are they not? You want to ask them personal stuff. What would you do if you didn't have to work? How would you add purpose and meaning to your life? You want to see, like, how would this person spend their time? What would they do with themselves? But you also want to ask why, because why is the truth of the matter. Maybe they say, I want to play video games for the rest of my life, which in my mind, I would say, wow, I don't know that I would want to consider this candidate. But if they said, when I said why, and they said, because I want to use creativity and I want to create a world and I want to be able to value what I create in that video game, whatever, that's more enticing to me. Because like, oh, they want to create something. They want to be the arbiter of their life. Like, I can get down with that. Another question is, what is your desired vision for the future? What do you want? What is your future why? What is your future vision? What top criteria are you looking for in a job? You want to figure out, like, if what you have, is that what they want? Because if they don't want what you have, then it's pointless. They're going to leave eventually anyways. So if you hired them, they would just be filling a seat for the time being, maybe biding their time. Figure out what their personal core values are. That's a huge question. A lot of us haven't thought about that, what our core values are. And to me, it's almost more interesting if they haven't established core values, because you get to see what's off the cuff. Because somebody can rehearse and say, like, my core values are, work ethic, and like, cool, I would love to hear that as a business owner. Actually, like, if I was interviewing someone and then they said work ethic, like, that actually would give me pause to say, like, that's BS. That's not a core value. That's lame. Well, I don't know. Maybe that is a core value and I'm just being judgmental. Who knows? But if it's off the cuff, truth might come out. You're like, oh, interesting. That wasn't rehearsed or something that you thought I'd want to hear. That was actually really authentic and congruent to who you are. And then you also want to check their interest in your job on a scale of 1 to 10. What's your interest in this job? Because you want to see, like, is this somebody that's wanting to play ball, or is this somebody that's, just here and is not necessarily a waste of time, but is not really serious about what I have. So that's the values assessment. That's them as a person, and are they going to fit your company culture? You need to evaluate skill fit. Do they have what you need? And so what you do for that is you have them do a task. We at Purpose Field Leader, we have the candidates all do the same task, and then we see who worked the hardest, what they produced. We make the task vague. We don't want to give the answers. We actually want to see what someone creates out of the prompts. And through that, people can't chat GPT a freaking task, but they can chat GPT, some kind of subjective question. So you want to give them a deliverable, and you want to look at their previous experience. You can kind of ask questions based on what was on their resume to see, is this really something they did, or did they really master this? Is that really somebody that we want on our team? And then you do want to check role fit. You do want to check what you need in that role. Do they have the skills, and are they a values fit?